Though spotty, the San Francisco single-family home market is showing strong signs of life. Various open houses are jam-packed, and lenders have found ways to get buyers into loans in the high fours and low fives that seem to be resonating. Stick around, let's figure out how to navigate the terrain. Before we get into the meat of this conversation, just wanted to take a minute and let you know that if you wanted these updates as soon as I post them, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. Of course, in real estate, timing means a lot. Let's get into what's going on in the market. Turns out, we didn't have to wait for the Super Bowl to see that the entry to mid-level single-family home is popping off. In established neighborhoods like Pack Heights, that's seen through properties like 2019 Webster that, though visually interesting, have various holdbacks like street location, lack of a yard, and a floor plan that's typically perceived as less conducive to this property. Sat on the market for 100 days last year, and its agent brought it back in the early part of this year to find herself a buyer. Unfortunately for the seller, the final settlement number was under their original list price. But when you're a developer, a sale is sometimes more important than achieving your best possible price. 475 Jersey is another example of a property marketed very intelligently by an experienced agent. Clearly, it needed kitchen and bath updates. There was no exit to the yard from a common area besides the garage, and the floor plan was a little bit wonky. But Jersey Street is about as good as you can get in Noe Valley, and the open houses at this place were jam-packed. The listing price reflected last year's realities, but the sales price reflected what's going on now. 17 offers propelled this property close to $3 million. Finally, there's 3957 26th Street. A super charming exterior gives way to an old house that needed work. Unpermitted square footage downstairs that wasn't connected to the main living area will drag on its appraised value. Even despite all that, they got 21 offers here because the location is top-notch, the yard is beautiful, and the listing agents did a really nice job working with what they had. While I can't say for sure just yet, I'm pretty confident they went more than $500,000 over their initial asking price. The good news for buyers is that prices are still below where they were, given that we're coming off the bottom. But what's underlying all the madness? Usually, the start of the year in San Francisco sees a progressive ramp up in inventory. This year, we actually saw the 2-week period starting in mid-January outperform the most recent 2-week period in terms of active properties on the market. More than that, we're at half the properties active on the market as we were this time last year. So even if we have half the buyers ready to go, we're still going to have similar levels of throughput and competition, albeit at lower price points. Of course, the early part of last year was totally crazy. My phone was ringing off the hook with sellers paying attention to news all around them that every housing market in the US was completely insane. While the Fed started hiking in March, it really started impacting momentum in May and June as they ratcheted up the pace of hikes. By December, we saw prices decline about 20% from peak value. So what might alleviate the momentum and drive prices down? Well, if there are more houses on the market, prices might come down. Maybe. When I reflect on my own business and talk to agents around town, it sounds like everybody is pretty dry without many whispers of things to come. Adding to all of this is that San Francisco is structurally undersupplied, especially when it comes to single-family homes. There just isn't a lot of land on which to build, and 97% or more of the new development in the city is in buildings with more units. So what might convince sellers to sell? Well, here's the process. Agents will start calling their clients who've been thinking about making a move and telling them about 475 Jersey, 26th Street, 2019 Webster. Because sellers typically have to move out, invest some time and money into the staging of the place, getting all the marketing collateral ready, and all that kind of stuff. We're at best 2 to 3 months out from getting any kind of inventory, maybe even longer. The trouble that presents to buyers waiting on the sideline is that the main thing that will inspire that inventory to come on the market is good news. Good news for sellers is bad news for buyers. It means there are multiple offers. It means that people are waiving all contingencies in a race to move in. And it means that prices are going up. Like I said last month, we're much closer to the bottom today than we are to the top. To wrap up, while prices are still below where they were, the market's starting to get hot. Shoot me an email at the address that's been flashing across your screen, and let's start thinking about your specific circumstance and how we navigate this market.